Hey Flosstube, this is Tara with Bold Woman Crafts, and it is summer. It is high summer. Welcome back. I'm so bad about kind of like welcoming people to my channel, but we've had a few new friends join us, so I definitely want to say hello. Thank you for stopping by. I hope that you have hopefully already seen something you enjoy that makes you want to hang out, and that I have more fun stuff to show you today. And to anyone who is returning, thank you so much. We'll get to some stuff later, but I just, endlessly thrilled that I have so many friends in this community now. And I just didn't think that, not that I didn't think people were friendly before, but I didn't see that one coming for me. So I'm thrilled to be a part of this whole community. There's a million other channels. It feels like you could watch cross stitch or otherwise. And I'm really happy that you decided to spend that time with me. So without further ado, I think what I'm going to title this video is that I had a visit from the Finnish fairy, and that is very true. I have a good handful of fully finished objects to share today. I'm truly on a roll. And so let's get started with that. So the first one, I actually won't be showing in this video, a little anticlimactic, but I did start and finish my smalls exchange piece for my, the retreat I'm going to at the end of the month, which is Black Needle Society's in-person retreat, which they informally call camp. The theme this year is holiday. So the reason I'm not showing it, because if you were here, I did show my StitchCon small prior to StitchCon, but there's not going to be any wrapping involved. So they are going to hang up, they're going to have trees there, and it's specifically an ornament exchange, not just like a smalls, any kind of smalls exchange. It's an ornament exchange. So we're all supposed to hang our ornaments on the trees when we get there. So it will not be any kind of wrapping that can disguise which one is mine. So in good spirit there, I'm gonna take a clip right after this, so you will see it. And I'm sad I can't share it today because I am just delighted with how it came out. But that is done. So that's the first one. The second one, this is also not like super climactic, I guess, but I worked through my backlog of Celebrate All Year charts that were not fully finished yet. Some of these I had already sort of mounted on the board, but I was missing their trim for one reason or another. So this was National Camping Month, which was June. I don't know if you guys even saw this as if y'all saw this as a finish. So this is a finish and fully finished now. This is the last of the dark navy blue ones. So it's got this nice chenille on it. So this was National Camping Month for June. There's so many fun motifs in here. I like the little frog and the little s'more and the tiny marshmallows and the little snail. Very cute. And then I also finished, fully finished National Strawberry Month. I'm not sure the exact direction on the bottom of this one, but it's very directional. This was May's piece, so it's got little white rickrack. And then these two, I think, were the ones I had already put up. Don't look at National Astronomy Month. I don't know what happened. I've been pretty good about getting these fairly round. This one is not. And yes, I could have probably like restrung it and started over, but you know what? It keeps me humble. So this was National Astronomy Month, which was April's chart, I believe. And then this was National Craft Month, which was the bonus chart for March. That was in the Nashville Needlework cookbook. So you have this chart if you got this year's cookbook. And so I had purchased from Lady Creates. I didn't know that she had just like a specific finishing pack for this extra chart. So I picked that up. And those are all finished. Yay. And then probably the two, you can hear them, I'm most excited about, I stuck with the ornament experience. And actually one of these was a Whip Go call this month. So that was what spurred it. And then once I had one done, I was like, let's just keep the momentum going while I still know how to do this. So I finished my other two presently stitched Swedish neat bells. These charts are from Ink Circles and they're very jingly. I purchased everything seen here as a full kit for Jingle Ball 2022. I took the finishing class, so I have a third one of these that's done, but since I did that in 2022, it's actually with my holiday decor, so it's packed away right now. But these two I stitched this year, so they needed finishing, and the finishing kit had the bells, the like organza ribbon, coordinating, all that stuff. I'm so happy with these. I'm so pleased. I did go dig out the other one I had done just to double check something about the construction, and it was just remarkable to see how far my sewing has come. These are hand sewn in the back, and I'm just really proud of myself. So if you and I think tonight if I participate in whip speed dating or anything, I might be showing these off. So if you happen to see these during, did I say Jingle Ball? I'm not sure. If you happen to see these during Midsummer Stitch, no you didn't, and tell me that they're beautiful again. So yes, this was the reindeer one, and this is an angel, I believe is what it is described as. And since this was all kit materials, it's just DMC 310, and then there's a different called for like classic color works in each center one of these. So I'm officially halfway done with these. I have to stitch the other three and fully finish them, but now, you know, because it's one of those things where like when you do something with a class, you're kind of following along and you're like getting, you know, tips as you go. And I was nervous to do this second one because it was going to be the first time. There's no recording of the class. I just have the written instructions. So I was a little bit worried about interpreting the written instructions after, you know, more than a year had passed by. But we got it figured out. Feeling good, feeling confident, feeling like I could definitely finish the rest of these three. So those were two additional fully finishes. And then my last fully finish I have to share with you was my other Whip Go call for the month. And this is a piece that I stitched for my sister. And it is called Nightmare Before Coffee. And this is by Barefoot Needle Arts. This was in the, oh gosh, is in one of the Halloween just cross-stitched within the last 2 years. I don't know if it was 2023 or 2022. Might have been 2022. But it's great. So we have this like Jack Skellington thing. Don't look too far in the corner. So the story about this, I did thrift this frame and it was white, so I painted it, and that took several coats to really get black, but I'm happy with the result. I was gonna finish it in this direction, but then when cutting the fabric, I cut it so close to the bottom of the piece that I almost thought I couldn't put it in the frame at all, but we made it work. Luckily, since it is for my family, I just kind of stuffed it in here and I was like, you get what you get. So she's very happy with it. So I don't know when I'm shipping this off to her, but she will be getting it eventually. And this was stitched on 32 count Jackson Fabric Arts in the color Soul. And I got, yeah, it was kit fabric for the Swedish Neat Bells, but that is 36 count if you're interested in stitching those for yourselves. That's the size that they are on 36. Amazing. And then I have one other start and finish to show you, and I'm realizing it is not in front of me. We're back. I had actually ironed this a little bit, and so it was laying off to the side and was not bunched up on the floor with everything else, because I don't typically iron, but this one was in dire need, and it doesn't even really look particularly ironed. But I did complete July's section of Stitch for Pride by Dee's 20 Stitches. This is a spot sampler chart highlighting different queer artists every month. So this section right here is July's, and we were spotlighting the work of Jeffrey Gibson, who is a Indigenous kind of mixed materials artist. And I have a little bit of a story with this one. So I actually started stitching on this square and I worked up and over, and then realized this second square from the bottom I was 1 row short, and I contemplated fudging it, but since all of the squares were even, I was really nervous about it kind of showing up, even though now seeing it all together with the variegation, it might have been fine. But as I was listening to, I really liked the learning section of this, for this artist, had a lot of videos of him speaking. And so one of the videos, he was talking about an installation he did, and there was a lot of beadwork involved, and he was talking about just like the physical time it takes to do beadwork and make things with your hands, and you know, some of these concepts of like slowing down and being present. And I will admit, in the midst of all the sales that I'm in, I was really sort of sitting down with the focus to just sort of like crank this out, and I just wanted it to be done, and I was not being super thoughtful about it. So when that mistake happened, and I was watching him talk about mindfulness and slowing down and, you know, the importance of, you know, sort of connecting with your present, I thought it was worth it to frog in spirit of what he was talking about. So I did frog it back, I did fix it, and I feel like, unfortunately, the way this thread is showing up on the camera, this is maybe going to be impossible for you to see, but technically there are words in this. So it does spell out on the second row here, it says time will tell, and maybe I'll try to put like a photo up either of Dee's model or of mine in a way that like makes it more possible for you to see the letters. But yes, some of his work kind of has sort of like, not like hidden letters necessarily, but, you know, has words. He talked a lot about like the power of words and connotation and stuff like that. And so Dee picked his own sentiment to include in the chart this month. So a great lesson all the way around. And the thread I chose for this month, which I think it looks better in person. It's more legible than how it's looking on screen. I don't know, I'll be interested to see how this looks later. But I used Fiberlicious Philly Rain. I think I talked about this in my last video, but I did end up going for it, and I really like how it came out. And this is stitched on 32 count baked clay by Fox and Rabbit. So that was a start and finish with a little life lesson thrown in there. Okay, perfect. So that is all of my finishes, which is amazing for 2 weeks. So I don't have any specific starts because the 2 things I've started in the last 2 weeks I finished. So next up, I have some works in progress, or whips, to show you. So the first one was caught up until a few hours ago. That's how she goes. And I'm sure you already know, it is the Deadly Aquarium stitch along. Here she is. I'm never over it. I'm never over this one. It is so good. Get in there. So most recently we finished out this sort of deep sea section. So we finally got to put in that vampire squid, and then this ghost shark, or chimera as it was labeled. So cool. I've seen a lot of people compare the ghost shark to Zero from Nightmare Before Christmas, and I totally see it, especially with that like one little bonus stitch on the nose there. So I just saw, and I'll have a picture up of, I just saw today's release, which are some eagle rays, I believe. They're so cute. They're kind of chonky, and some kelp. So we're gonna finally know where the top of this pattern falls for me. If you have not been around, I know I goofed a little bit. I just wanted this modeling specifically included, so I really kind of shoved this in the side here, not paying attention to the instructions. So I have counted. I should be fine top and side. It's just gonna be close. It's just gonna be close, and that's future me's problem to frame it. But anyway, so we're finally gonna get something on the top of the tank here, as well as put put some more on this side. So this is going super well. And I might text, again, those of you may know, my brother's girlfriend is doing this stitch along with me. We're roping her into the community slowly but surely. So if she wants to share an update, I will hopefully have hers here. She is stitching on 14 count Ada. I can't remember the color off the top of my head, but I should have mentioned this is 40 count Eucalyptus by Atomic Ranch. I'm stitching this on with all the called for colors. So very thrilled with the progress on that and hoping to stay with it, even though those rays, they look kind of small. They're over 1,000 stitches. They're over 1,000 stitches. Oh my gosh. Next up, I really did good this past 2 weeks. I was kind of frantic in my last one of progress of things, and I think we're getting back on track. So next up is Twisted Rainbow Sampler, which I was very behind on my own schedule. So I'm gonna first put up a picture of the cross stitch band finish. So I did get that done, this row of butterflies. It's looking fantastic. The dark purple is showing up just fine. I haven't posted this to Instagram yet because I'm really bad about it. But it is done. And then this past Sunday, the next kind of the next pass on the next band was due. So I can show you that now. I don't know if put something behind it here. There we go. So don't look too close. I don't really like this specialty band. I feel like it is the ray stitches, I'm sure I could really like fuss with them and make them look a little bit better, but they're just not the prettiest specialty stitch for me. Like just my stitches, I don't think look that good. So I am not thrilled that the whole band is basically 4 passes of different sized ray stitches, but I'm sure from a distance it's all gonna look fine. But yeah, so we did 1 pass down, and this is the start of the next pass, as you can see. Yeah, there we go, and that's due next week. So I was just watching Stephanie and Allison's most recent video, and they made a comment about this, and they were like, isn't she done with that? And I'm like, no, I don't think she's done yet. Yeah, no, I'm not done yet. Technically, my schedule would have me be done, it's like through the end of the year, but since these rows are getting shorter and shorter, I actually am thinking my stretch goal is to have this done for a finish at Stitch North and at the end of October. So hang with me, it's gonna get done. It will. I didn't say anything about that. It is it's one of those ones that I'm like, it's been here so long that you probably have caught it at one point or another. But this is 28 count Jobelin, just black. I'm stitching 1 silk strand. I'm doing the Dinky Dyes conversion, 1 silk strand over 2 on 28 count. So that's kind of why my cross stitching looks very, as like precise. I don't know what the word is. It looks very like, I don't know. It looks like 1 strand over 2 on 28 is what it looks like. Yes, and that is my oldest work in progress. So it's going to be a really, really exciting finish to see that one done. Next up, something a little different, and I think you all liked it as much as I did. This is my kind of like canvas project. This is Felicity the Lobster. And as you can see, I've not started on the other side of her body. I'm kind of trying to save it for myself. I want to power through some more of this yellow background before I start getting to the other side, but she officially is all filled in the color. Like this half of her body is completely done. It's just the background. And to give you an idea of how much background is left, even though she is 50% done, the piece I think is maybe barely 1/3 of the way done. So there's a lot of yellow stitching yet to go. This is the hard edge of it here, but the top edge is like somewhere up here. And then of course there will be some in the front as well. I've probably put up a picture of the finished product. This is a kit that my friend purchased for me to make for her. So it will go in her home. It will not be living with me. And I see her in August. So I really got to get a move on with this. I have not succeeded in my kind of like daily stitch count for this in a couple days, but I think it's going to be okay because with Midsummer Stitch this weekend, I think this will be a fantastic like sitting and chatting project because it's very blocky. And more so, I am thinking that this might be a good project to bring to the Black Needle Society retreat for similar reasons. Obviously very visible holes, very doable. So this is a kit purchased off Etsy. I'll have the info below, and it's been really fun to work on. Just not enough hours, not enough hours to catch up on all the stitch alongs and do that. But I still hold out hope that if I don't finish it by my trip to see her, it will be within a reasonable amount that she can finish it on her own. So I think we're good there. Next up, I did get back to my dinosaurs. I have not done this week's stitches though, so there's really not too much to see here. I apologize. So I really only have last week's stitching, which I'm looking at it now and I'm not even 100% confident what that was. I'm really bad about this, but like maybe I can put up a picture of where it was before. We'll see. Sometimes that's nice to see. But here we are now. I'm pretty sure I've completely finished this dinosaur and then started over here. So yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna kind of fill out this corner and then get back to my border and start working my way down. This is my second oldest work in progress whip, and it is another one that is scheduled to be done at the end of the year, if not a little sooner, but nonetheless by the end of the year. So really loving it. This is Forest Embroidery. I bought this as a kit, so this is kit fabric and all of the Forest overdyed threads, and we are loving it. And this is another one. Hopefully tonight I will get this week's stitches in. I'm trying to put, I'm doing hashtag motif a week, which for me is about 180 stitches a week when I'm doing it. Okie dokie. My last work in progress to share with you today is I finally picked my Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Arctic Animal stitch along back up. And it's still in the Q-snap, but I did take out, you can see the whole thing. So here it is. Yes, so this is a ongoing stitch along. I am a part and change behind still, but luckily, unlike Deadly Aquarium, these are about, I would say, a little over 1,000 to 1,500 stitches, but it's a month as opposed to a week. So I have faith that I will get close to, if not catch up by the next drop. So I've fully finished the first release, which are these Arctic foxes and voles. And then I've started on the bottom of the walrus here. I've completed the rock and everything, and you can see the start of the walrus flippers there. I am foregoing the signs at the moment, and mostly not even because I necessarily dislike them. I just think that those colors, even though obviously I knew all the colors that were in the chart, those blocks of color I just worry will not look great with my fabric. This was a rogue fabric choice, and I am usually one that's kind of nervous about doing that. But when I saw, Arctic animals, I just immediately thought like Aurora Borealis, sparkle. So I went in a different direction. I purchased this 16 count opal Ada from Under the Sea Fabrics, and this is in the color Hamlet. So yeah, I just love this like dark blue, and I think it's working. I think it is. I mean, the voles are blending in a little bit. Choices were made, and I'm committed, and it's fine. I just, for now, I'm not sure if the signs are working for me or not, so we're gonna leave them off, which is obviously saving me some stitching as we continue. But after this walrus, there is a caribou up here, very adorable, munching on some lichen. So yeah, this is currently my like daily stitches project, so I'm trying to get 200, 300 stitches a day on this until I catch up, and that has been extremely helpful because we've made some good progress. And I will say I've only stitched on opal fabric one other time, and it was a Bestitch Me Jobelin, I believe, or Lugana, maybe a Lugana. And I really didn't have a problem with that, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna just get this in opal, no big deal. I do kind of hate stitching on this opal. I don't know why. I feel like my stitches look like garbage, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't stitch on hand-dyed. I have not stitched on hand-dyed Aida so much, so I'm assuming it's the opal that's the problem, but maybe I'm just not a good Aida stitcher. I just feel like it doesn't. And I mean, it's light colors. I don't know. There's a lot going on, but oh well. We carry on. This is a cute stitch along, so I'm glad to be getting some work back into this. But yeah, hopefully this fabric doesn't come back to bite me in the butt and I hate it at the end, but I like it. It's pretty. It's pretty. Nothing that could go on that could look bad, right? Amazing. So that is all of the stitching that I have to show you. I have a couple of plans, the smallest little bit of haul, and then yeah, just some other. I'm gonna maybe try to do like a reading, watching, playing. I've seen a couple of other folks do this, but you know, so especially since not everyone's into video games, maybe other media I'm consuming might be of interest. So moving right along into my plans. So for WhipGo, if you're new, I am participating in WhipGo for the first time ever this year, and am, you know, your board, your rules. I'm taking that to heart. So I am copying an idea I saw off Instagram that is to do like a fully finishing board. So that's where a lot of the fully finishes have come from. So doing one of the Swedish neat bells and the coffee chart in the frame, those were my 2 July WhipGo calls. So we're done with that. I'm going to continue on my 200 stitches a day on older charts. So that's the Arctic animals for now. Continuing to want to catch up on my stitch alongs. So I'm caught up on Stitch for Pride. Deadly Aquarium, I'm like keeping up with. Like I said, technically the next part dropped, but we're okay. So also hoping to start Celebrate All Year's next chart this weekend and get caught up on that. Next, I wanted to mention the last of my round robin pieces came in. So I am participating also for the first time ever for me in a Ink Circles round robin with Julie of Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World, Julie of Julie and Stitches, and Miriam of Marumi Crafts and Marumi Designs on Etsy. And you know, Kansas City Girl to Colorado World is Hemlock and Rye Stitchery. Gotta shout out their shops. I've not done that before, but we are on our last rotation. So this is gonna be the last quarter of this chart. Make sure I'm not flashing anything I'm not supposed to be flashing. So I now have Julie, Kansas City Girl in a Colorado Worlds chart, and her piece is Reflections of Scotland. I love it so much. The little cows, the little Highland coos in the middle, so freaking adorable. And very interesting. I mean, not interesting, it's just cool that the 3 of us, Julie excluded, kind of just bisected directly into quarters, but Julie took the approach of actually wanting to finish out motifs. So I'll show you how that looks in practice, but and her combo is so good here. Y'all are not even ready if you haven't seen this on one of their channels yet. Look at that. It is so beautiful. So yeah, as you can see, this like thistle motif is fully completed and then it's like missing right here. So the pieces kind of fit more into each other and you're not stuck like bisecting a motif, which is very smart and cool and fun. And had I had the foresight, maybe I would have tried something like that. I'm realizing that was sideways. I'm sorry. This is the right way up. You can tell by the cows. So yeah, let me get you some info on this. She has little cards in here. So this is stitched with a Gloriana in Highland Garden, which is perfect. So we got some of that left, obviously. And then the fabric, here we go, is Nicholas Flamel from Etsy. And I believe she said it's the Bronte sisters, and this was a 3-pack she got. So this specific fabric does not have a name, but it came from the Bronte sisters pack on Etsy, and it is 32 count, and it is gorgeous. I love, it just looks like a lichen colored stone. It's so pretty. So we'll get to work on that at some point. They have been just such a joy to exchange with, because nobody really, like, nobody asks. It's just like, oh, hey, like, I finally got around to that, so it's coming out to you. And she has it in this very fun Outlander kind of sleeve style bag here. So they are a delight to exchange with. Would do it again. So that's got to get done. And then basically I'll be packing for camp. Like I said, I haven't fully decided which pieces are going. I am excited at the prospect that if I can keep up with Deadly Aquarium, the Friday that that retreat is an off week. So if I am done before I leave, I can leave it and not have anything to stitch on it, which might be kind of nice because I've been putting a lot of time into that, so I could bring some other things to camp. Like I said, considering bringing Felicity, and yeah, I have a big start planned, so there will be lots to recap from that, but yeah, so I'm packing for that to do. And then lastly, my only other plan is starting this evening. Unfortunately, because I'll be participating in Midsummer Stitch, I doubt you'll be seeing this beforehand, but Midsummer Stitch is this evening and through Saturday. If somehow this is up on Saturday and you want to pop in, you can still buy a ticket. It's $8 and come do stitchy rooms and all that sort of thing. But looking forward to that, looking forward to joining tables and seeing all the free classes and all that stuff. I'm very excited about this like lower key event with no shopping, because I don't need to be shopping. So that is that. And that's all the like plans basically I have for the next 2 weeks. You won't, next time I see you will be after camp. So I think it's going to be a little bit longer than 2 weeks technically. Because I'll be, at camp the next time. He says, I'm sorry I keep messing with my shirt. I don't know what I'm doing. Do I want it off the shoulder? Do I not want it off the shoulder? I don't know. I apologize. Okay, lastly, my teeny tiny bit of haul. I shopped Bobby of Pumpkin Creek Primitives shop for the first time, actually. She was having a sale over the week of 4th of July with a sale on patterns and fabric. I was responsible and I didn't buy fabric, but I did get a couple of patterns, namely one because I got roped into a start along, stitch along with Laura of the Pattern Queens, and then Keisha, also of the Pattern Queens, and Jennifer the Frog Stitcher. The 4 of us are planning to start Silver Creek Samplers Izzy Decayin. So funny. So I bought this because I didn't own it. I don't know when we're starting, but I was just getting my materials together and I have it kitted up, ready to go. So this might come to camp because I don't know if maybe we'll decide to start it there. I don't know. And then, you know, it couldn't come by itself, right? So I got 3 other patterns, and I do want to shout out, Bobby has Pumpkin Creek Primitives website. There's a lot of interesting patterns on there, like things that I just don't feel like I've seen previously, even from designers I know. I felt like I knew pretty well, so that was just kind of, it was interesting to go through. So the first one I got, I actually saw this at StitchCon. Tasha of Britches Get Stitches had this in her raffle basket that she won, but this is Sue Hillis Dark Shadows. I just thought these were so fun and great to have on hand for a smalls type situation. Who doesn't like a little Halloween situation, and just the chandelier is very cool. I like the style a lot. Little curly cues. And these other two are just kind of wild cards that just stood out to me. I don't know when I'm gonna stitch these, but I just felt they needed to be with me. So the first one is from Fairy Wool in the Wood, called Autumn is Here. What's going on there? What are they up to? It's these big mushrooms. Cooking mushrooms. The mushrooms have mustaches. There's little gnomes of varying sizes. He's very tall. He's very short. Relative to the mushrooms, I'm not really sure what's happening there. It's raining. This guy's, look at the little hedgehog. This guy's riding a fox. He's pushing a barrel of what? Cauliflower? I'm so in love with it. I don't know what the heck is going on here. And look, he's got like a grumpy pumpkin. I was just delighted by that. Yeah, so that was one of those, you're coming home with me moments. I don't know when I'm stitching that, but it is adorable. I hope you might have seen my blanket fall. This time of year, these curtains, normally it works like in the winter. The position of the sun is such that about the time I film in the afternoon, it's not really directly coming down through our sunlights there. But this time of year, it is. And so you can just really see everything illuminated back there. So I kind of put like blankets out so you don't have to see all my business. But that just fell. Little behind the scenes. So sorry. Okay, and the last pattern I got, this is another one. From Ori TM, Quaker Halloween. So at first blush, you're probably like, that's not that weird. But what got me were these tombstones at the bottom. So this first one says, I told you I was sick. I freaking died. It's so passive aggressive. And this one says, got worm. And the last one says, I'll be back. Also, there's just like randomly, it looks like a carrot perhaps, and then a pumpkin. So it's like some vegetation growing down there. I will say I don't completely love the tone on tone that's happening here, but I think this chart would lend itself immensely well to being on an extremely funky fabric and just using a very funky thread here for these Quaker motifs. But I could not get over that. That just made me laugh so hard. So there it is. That was my Pumpkin Cream Primitives haul and my shout out. Like, have you seen these charts elsewhere? Am I just on the wrong websites? But Bobby knows what's up. Bobby's got some fun charts. And then I also wanted to mention, because I feel like sometimes I'm bad about showing boxes, but then not mentioning when those boxes are actually like on sale. So I did purchase the 2025 Mislaid Pages Burb box. I have gotten the previous two, so we're keeping it moving, but I will note that this year, there's not in the past 2 years, Jesse's done like a fully fledged box and then I don't remember what they titled it, but like a lower cost box. So the fully fledged had like 2 pieces of fabric, and Dinky Dye's silk, and the like more economical option didn't have the fabric and then had DMC. This year they didn't offer that. There's only like the top price box, and it comes with 1 piece of fabric from Lap and Loops. It's not from Mislaid Pages this year. And the Dinky Dyes it's not Dinky Dyes, it's going to be Cottage Garden threads. So just something to note, but the designers included this year, fantastic as always. Very excited, love that box. So excited to see what Jessie cooks up for us next year. So that is on sale now. All count fabrics are still available. So go to mislaidpages.com if you want to get in on the Burb box. There we go. Also, okay, yeah. So one other announcement, I guess I could have put this in plans. I need to talk to Marjorie about this, but we have loosely discussed, hopefully she's still on board for this. If not, that's okay. We've loosely discussed starting Tiny Modernists Moths and the Moon, kind of like end of August, early September, like we're sort of ready to tip it over into fall type of vibe. And that's also around my birthday, so I'm kind of considering this like my birthday start for the year. I've had this since it came out at market in, yikes, maybe 2021. And that's a crying shame because it is an incredible chart. So yeah, I'm just kind of soft launching. If this is something you have in your stash, if this is something you haven't seen and would like to be in your stash, my next video, I should have more like hopefully concrete plans about that so I can give people a heads up. But that is a start along, stitch along, no pressure along that Marjorie and I are hoping to do together. And anyone, of course, is welcome to join in. So that is that. That is kind of everything. I'm going to wrap it up with, like I said, a little like reading, watching, playing, because I actually have a book that I read recently that I really like. I'm not very consistent with the book reading, but I did really like, I just read via audiobook, None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. And I think Cam the Stitcher also liked this book a while ago, if I remember. But the reason I like came to this book was it was one of the possible titles for the Black Needle Society book club choices, but it was not selected as the book for that round. But I, put it on hold anyway, and I put it on hold in like February and finally got it. But specifically, so it's kind of like a psychological thriller type thing. Very good. I won't like belabor the plot so much, but I wanted to give a plug for the audiobook because I'm also fairly new to audiobooks, and this is the first audiobook that I have listened to that has like a full cast and has like some, I don't know what the term is, but like soundscaping almost. Like, so for example, there's like a brief prologue, and then there is, in the book, it is written about like a Netflix documentary that's about like what ends up happening in the book. But the way that the audiobook is portrayed, it sounded like a real Netflix ad. And when I tell you I was about to have a conniption, I was like, am I listening to an ad in a library book? Like, I'm gonna lose it. I am gonna lose it. But it was not a real ad. It was written in the book, but they just did such a good job. I thought it was a real ad. And this book has two main character point of views, and so they're voiced by different voice actresses. So it was just very enjoyable to me to listen to it like that. So just gonna give a plug for the audiobook. I listened to it in like a day and a half, and normally that's not always my MO. So if that says anything about it, it was very good. Watching, not that I think this is particularly interesting, but my partner and I, we recently started Boardwalk Empire, because that's like a classic show that we just, neither of us have watched. So that's been interesting to start. We're still in like season 1. And then of course, I think I mentioned last time as well, Love Island UK. It's Love Island season. So been crushing through those episodes. There's so many episodes, but it's enjoyable kind of brain turn off time as it always is. And then lastly, playing. So I've been very into cooperative games recently, which I kind of separate from multiplayer games. So there are some games that you can play by yourself, but then there's maybe like a multiplayer option where someone can play with you and like contribute, but the game isn't structured around having a second player. So multiplayer doesn't necessarily always do it for me, but cooperative, where the game is specifically designed that like another person is supposed to be there to play it with you. I've been very into that vibe recently. So my partner and I started It Takes Two, which hopefully you're seeing here, which the setup of this is that there's a husband and wife who are kind of on the verge of divorcing, and they have a little girl, and they're kind of letting the little girl know that they're planning to proceed with divorce. And she has these two little dolls and goes, you know, and has a little cry about it and wants her parents to get back together, and the parents turn into the dolls. So it's been very fun to play that. It's very fun. It's very well designed, very forgiving in a lot of ways. I think like it is a game where you're controlling the camera, but there you can kind of like, how am I going to explain this in a way that is helpful? It's beginner friendly in that you can change the settings so that you're not getting like seasick with the camera, because I think that's a really hard skill to overcome that I didn't overcome until I finally played through like the big Zelda games. Being able to like run with one joystick and move a camera with the other joystick and not just feel like I'm getting motion sick. So you can kind of have a more fixed camera position, which I think helps. And then there comes a time where you're doing a lot of aiming and it does a lot of auto locking for you. So I think it's very beginner friendly in that aspect, that you don't have to fight to do all the aiming and the camera work if that's not something that is your strong suit. So I think that was really fun. And then I did indulge in the Steam summer sale and got some games there. So one of them, I bought all 5 games of the We Were Here series. And that is a game, again, that's designed for 2 players. And I actually played with Julia of, I don't remember what her YouTube is. She had a Flosstube for a hot second and then has not posted for a while, which, you know, it happens, life happens. But she and I have kept in touch, and I conned her into playing this with me. So we actually played it over the last week and played the first one, We Were Here. So in this one, you're kind of first person, so you're just seeing like hands, and it's sort of an escape room style, but you're not in the same place with each other, and you only have walkie-talkies to communicate. So back in the, you know, in walkie-talkie style, it's not like having a voice call with someone today. You can't talk at the same time and hear each other. Like with the walkie-talkies, you have to make sure that like you're not talking over each other or you won't hear. So you have to take turns speaking, and you have to kind of describe what's going on to figure out how to get out of the room. So like, for example, there's like a room and there's like a painting on the wall and then like a bunch of symbols. So like I had to describe the painting so she could find it, and then she knew what symbols I needed. So then she had to like describe the symbols back to me for me to like put with my painting to get out of that particular room. It was very fun. We did have to look up the last puzzle, I will say. The first game I think is quite dated, it's older. And so there was one puzzle we had to look up because physically it was just like not working. There was some kind of glitch in the game. And then there was one puzzle we looked up because it was ridiculous. And I stand by that. So she was great to play with because I think we both have the same threshold of like, we'll give it a try, but we're not above looking for the solution online if we're getting a little frustrated. So really appreciate her playing with me, and we hope to play through some of the other ones as well. So that's been really fun. So there are, and I believe the first We Were Here game is free on Steam. So low risk if you want to try that one out with a friend. But yeah, so you can obviously like have a call separate to the game, but I think it is very fun to do the walkie-talkies in game. So yeah, that's what I got going on. Like I said, we're just keeping it warm. I'm sad I've not gone to the pool yet because it just feels like it's been raining all the time, or it's just been like gray and looking like it's gonna threaten to rain. So I don't really want to like you know, you get your whole body in sunscreen to go down there, and then it's like, oh, it's gonna rain and I can't be here. So I've not gotten my pool time in yet. That's okay. But lots of good stitching time in and finishing time. So yeah, I think that's it. Look at me, maybe coming in under an hour. You will see probably from me before the end of the month, the next Black Needle Society bi-monthly box will be here, hopefully. And then other than that, I think I'm gonna see you after camp. So I'm very excited. I think it's gonna be a different, you know, I think every in-person retreat is different from what I hear. So I'm interested to see how the experience is compared to the StitchCon experience. There will be like around 100 people at this one, so I think that will be nice. I think it will afford me more opportunity to talk to more people potentially, and I think it will be interesting because since I video call, participate in Black Needle Society chats quite often, I think there's a much larger percentage of participants going that I already know than there were at StitchCon, even though there was a nice big group of us that I knew, group of folks that I knew and who knew me. Yeah, I think it'll be different, and that'll be great. So looking forward to seeing how that goes and what stitching I get done there and the experience of packing again. So anyway, I hope you all are getting some good stitchy time in when you can. I hope that you are coming to Midsummer Stitch, which, like I said, the timing of this may make that wish awkward, but hope to see you at Midsummer Stitch if you're coming. And yeah, hit me up if you have any questions, if I missed anything down below. And I really hope to see you in the next one. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.